Buried with the men in grave circle A was a hoard of weapons. Here we see just a few of the swords and daggers that were buried with them. This is of great significance. I know you might be thinking, okay, yeah, you get buried with your weapons, sure, whatever. That's not the case unless you are extremely powerful. The act of owning a weapon is a statement of power and status. And most people did not own a weapon. They did not possess anything because they possessed no power. So to have a sword or a dagger, which, in today's day and age with guns, they seem very benign, but those are deadly weapons. So to have a sword or a dagger was a statement of having some kind of power. And then the fact that these swords and daggers were of such high craftsmanship means that these were ceremonial and they had to have belonged to extremely important men. All that remains of most of these weapons are just the hilts, the handles, and that's because the metal has deteriorated over time. But the hilts and handles of the swords show bone, ivory, which had to have been imported from Africa, and gold, and here are the daggers. Now, some of these daggers, most of the daggers are missing their handles. The handles most likely were made of wood and then lined in materials, like this one here was lined in gold. All that remains of many of the daggers are just the blades themselves. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at one specific dagger blade. So this is your next official artwork. The inlaid dagger blade with lion hunt, and it was found in grave circle A. The blade, which, doesn't look very sharp or scary, is made of bronze, and it was very sharp and very scary and very deadly. It's just that the bronze has rusted and oxidized and deteriorated over time. The bronze blade was inlaid with gold and silver and a black material or a chemical reaction that we're going to be looking at. It's called niello. Don't worry, I'm going to get to it. Don't worry. It's spelled Niello, niello. This dagger, well, it's exactly what it says, a lion hunt. We have 1, 2, 3. There's a fourth guy behind this shield, and then a fifth guy has fallen. These 5 men are swords and spears aimed at 1, 2, 3 lions. So we have a lion hunt. Now, we've seen a lion hunt. We've been talking about the Assyrians a lot when looking at the Mycenaeans. That's because they share a culture of intimidation. They share a culture of violence, of ferocity. And so they're using similar visual tools to present that message. The black chemical reaction that sets off the gold and silver is your next vocabulary term, niello. Niello is painting in metals, or niello. Niello is gold and silver that has been hammered into a design and then etched. It's a chemical reaction. I'm not going to get into all the details. Just take my word for it. It's a lot of chemical use. And the negative space is filled with black sulfur that creates that beautiful, rich black background. I'm not going to get into metallurgy with you, but you can always look it up yourself. So we have our inlaid dagger. The reason I bring up niello isn't to be dismissive of it. Instead, it's to emphasize the amount of craftsmanship that goes into this type of blade. This isn't just make something sharp, stick the pointy in the other guy and kill him. There is some greater significance and symbolism and time and effort and money and dedication on this artwork. It's not just a weapon, it is an artwork. And this artwork has been completed by a genius of composition. Whoever this was, they were brilliant. And the reason I say that is because, check it out. The blade, it's a very narrow blade. So these 4 posts here would have connected the blade to a handle. The handle's gone. It's a very narrow space, and it only gets smaller, right? So how are you going to, on one narrow blade, put a lion hunt with 5 guys and 3 lions? You use the space efficiently, and this artist knew exactly what they were doing. Look at how they use the full width of the blade to create the full height of this man. He is stretching out to aim that spear, so he's extending the full height of the blade. And then as the blade narrows, the bodies very subtly, you didn't even notice it, did you? But they slowly go lower and lower. So he's extended up, and then the next guy is lower. The next guy pulls back. The other guy crouches behind his sword, and then, ooh, that guy. Uh-oh. Is he looking to control the situation? So maybe they're trying to rescue him. Maybe this was a lion hunt gone bad, and they're not afraid to go and rescue their fellow soldier. So he's on the ground and like, they're going to get this lion. And one of the lions, now look again. Look how narrow this triangle of space is, right? And the artist has used every single amount of space. So that first lion roars up, right? Rears up like that. And so it's using the full height that it has. And then the other 2 lions are running away from the scary humans. And they are running so fast that they're low to the ground. And so as they narrow in their speed, they follow the line of the blade. It's a great composition, isn't it?